Alright, man, welcome back to yet again another video on the channel, and today, I feel like we got a pretty fun video for today. Alright, so, about a few days ago, I was going around the internet, doing my usual thing, perusing, trying to find a video to react to, because, you guys seem to like it when I react to, like, news segments on the channel, so I thought, you know what, since you guys seem to love these, why not try to find a news story so ridiculous and so random, you're gonna leave the video thinking, wow, what in the blue hell did I just watch? And today, I feel like we struck a gold mine because I found a video by ABC 15 called Student Carries Death Note with Names, where, the title's pretty self-explanatory. It's a kid that carried a quote-unquote death note to class. Somebody snitched on him, he got in trouble, and ended up making the news. Now, this story, in my opinion, is pretty funny. It's a giant cluster, and you guys are not gonna want to miss this. Yeah, we're gonna jump right into that. However, before I do, if you guys end up rocking the video, and you're enjoying my content, man, go down below, hit that big red button, also enable all notifications, they get notified every single time I drop another video like this. Also, I'm really trying to hit 200k subs by the end of the year, so if you can help out with that, they'd be very, very mucho appreciated. So yeah, without any further ado, let's begin.
Parents in Florence on alert after a middle school student creates what's called a death list. Thanks for choosing us. I'm Katie Rammel. Steve has the night off. We want to start by assuring you school officials say this student had no way to carry out his wishes, but nonetheless, it's disturbing. ABC 15's Mary Ellen Resendez explains what was found and how school officials were tipped off.
Okay, so I feel like just about now would be a good time for me to give a bit more context as to this whole entire situation, because already, right off the bat, it sounds awful, right? It sounds like this kid, brought a list of student names to the school, and he's about to wipe out the entire student population, but there's a bit more to it, right? Let me explain. So, this kid, the whole subject of this whole story here is a weeaboo, right? He's a giant weeb, and he's a giant fan of anime, including a really popular one that you guys have probably watched before, known as Death Note. Now, in Death Note, to put it simply, there's a thing called, well, the Death Note, and in this notebook, you can write down somebody's name, and that person will die. I'm pretty sure you can write down the cause of death in somebody's name, and they'll die from said cause of death, and you have the power to kill anybody just by simply writing down their name in this notebook, right? It is a work of fiction, it is not real. So I'm assuming this kid was a mega weeb, he was a really big fan of it, so he decided to make his own variant of the Death Note, bring it to school, and write down student names in there to, I guess, cosplay as if he wielded the power to kill anybody just by simply writing down their name. So I'm assuming what happened here is some kid, saw him writing down, his name in the Death Note, and he didn't know what it was referring to, so he reported to the school, and now here we are, and it's on the news with over 1 million views. So yeah, now that you guys know why this kid was wielding the Death Note, let's continue.
We're tipped off.
Thank God that it got caught.
A sigh of relief from parents after middle school students at Anthem K-8 in Florence alert teachers to a fellow student's troubling text message.
He was threatening suicide. He didn't get graphic about how he was planning to do it, but he did appear to have a plan.
School administrators didn't find any weapons on the student, but they did find this book.
It's a book called Death Note. It's kind of a Japanese-style comic book that is very dark.
The book talks about, quote, as a valid cause of death. With it, a journal of sorts, also titled Death Note. Inside, a passage saying, the human whose names is written in this note shall die. And behind those pages, a list of students' names.
Now, I will give pushback where I feel pushback is necessary. This kid took his weebism, oh my, what a fucking dumb word. He took being a weeb way too far, because no matter how big of a fan you are of Death Note, under no circumstance should you ever be bringing a real-life Death Note to school where you're literally writing down students' names in there and how you want them to die, because yeah, no matter how much you're just a weeb and you're referencing a popular anime you like, you still shouldn't, because in the modern age of America, with school tragedies happening left, right, and center, if they see somebody with a book called a Death Note writing down students' names, no matter how much it's a popular TV show, they have to investigate that, because they cannot take the chance of, not investigating it, brushing it off, and then next week a school tragedy happens, and they could have easily stopped it. Like, they just simply cannot take that risk whatsoever. So I think this weeb deserves jail time or deserves to be locked away. No, not at all. I don't think there's really any evidence of him being a school threat. In my opinion, I think he's just a weeb that made a very idiotic mistake. Now, that aside, these people on the news are absolute boomers, dude. Like, number one, the dude has a copy of the manga, which he's flipping the wrong way. Just had to point that out. He has all the material there to notice what this kid was referencing and to notice maybe he wasn't a school threat. He has the explanation of this whole situation right there in his hands, and for some reason, this escalated so far to the point where it's on the news, which, by the way, how much of a slow news day was it to the point where that's a report on a mega weeb in class making a dumb mistake? Like, okay, if this was a kid who was actually threatening the safety of the students in the school, I can understand that that being on the news, right? Like, that's understandable, but some dumb weeaboo bringing a manga and cosplaying it at school, is that really something that we need to be putting on the news? Like, I don't know, bro. I feel like there's much better things going on out there that you should be reporting on besides this, but hey, man, whatever.
It's like a witch's spell. If you write their name in here, some harm will come to them. There was no specific threat. There was no specific, I'm going to harm them.
And there you go, you said it yourself. There was literally no way for him to carry out these attacks. He wasn't actually threatening anybody. He was just cosplaying a show or some series he really liked. You literally have the answer right there in front of you. I don't think he actually wanted anybody to die, yet you still don't understand and still thought going on the news about such a little situation was a good idea. Like, okay, dude.
Be in trouble, so that's why we took action today and spoke with the executive director of Parenting Arizona. And she gave us a whole list of signs we really should all be aware of.
Dramatic changes in the regular routine, sleeping, eating, those types of things indicate the depression. Perhaps the child isn't eating at all, or perhaps he's gorging or she's gorging himself with foods.
We also mentioned why it's so important we talk to our children and their friends, and if we see the warning signs, we've got to act on it.
Okay, now at this point, they're just being so over dramatic about it, bro. Like, as I said, if they're reporting on like an actual school threat, then this whole segment here about warning signs and whatnot would be necessary, because all jokes aside, warning signs in children that may be a threat to others around them is important and we should look out for that. However, them sticking this in a story where nobody was at risk and some kid was just trying to have fun and cosplay his favorite anime, it just seems so out of place. It just doesn't fit in whatsoever. Like, they're acting like they just saved this kid from depression and saved him from harming himself and others, but you just kind of blew it all out of proportion. Like, there's nobody in this school watch anime. Does not one person in a 50-mile radius understand what this kid was trying to do. Like, don't sit here and play the hero, because you're no hero. You just blew something out of proportion for a news story because you had nothing better to report on. Like, what? In the end, they act like they saved that kid from depression, and imagine that kid's reaction when this happened. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that too. Like, imagine going on the news because you brought a manga to school and try to like make your own version of it. Like, school when student brings a famous manga. This is unacceptable. School when someone bullies somebody. Damn, look at this wall. Karen. Kid who brought the death note writes names of students. Police, he's depressed. Taking action. It's like actual children doing a role play. Kid gets death threats and gets bullied at school. School, you'll walk it off. Kid likes an anime. School, wait, that's illegal. Like, I can testify for that numerous times. Like, there's many times where the school doesn't like tackle actual issues, but they'll tackle little things like this. Like, I don't understand it, bro. Like, I remember back in 2nd grade, I made some joke about bringing a Nerf gun to school. You know, probably should have known better. You know, the word gun in school don't, you know, mix whatsoever. But I made a joke about that in 2nd grade, and I got sent up to the front office for the rest of the day, and I was so confused. I was like, what did I do wrong? And it took like 7 hours the entire day for them to finally explain to me why what I did was wrong. And I'm like, well, you could have just told me not to joke about that and I wouldn't have done it, bro. I mean, I was in like 2nd grade. I'm not a threat to the school. Like, who do you think I am? I'm not a total psychopath. Like, my god. But yeah, guys, that's really all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video and you thought this whole news story was a big WTF moment, go down below and leave a like on the video. Also, if you want to see more videos like this from me, I have a lot more like it, so click on the thingies popping up right now to see more. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. It means a lot. I love you all very much. Thank you for supporting me, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.